I got it made, you never delay. You came and you paid, surveyed the property you made. Put in the offer, you didn't have to say. I got it made for real. It's been like God in here. Bitch got that grace appeal. They stick with annoying, what else am I supposed to feel? Won't you come in, put your feet up, how you waiting here? Let me back up while you do you, I'm on NFL. Check my feng shui, I can rearrange, that's a chandelier. Get a show ready where you set it up, it's a grand premiere.
Real talking gotta make them feel. I'm something special, I ain't just a vessel. I found your word was my way to heal. Now I'm outside trying to spread the message. The devil dripping, he been causing wreckage. My testimony went from declining to the upper hand, finally gave me leverage. What I felt was a stretch, it led to agility. You were the balance, I needed stability. All the allure, spirit so pure, from Father to Son like the holiest Trinity. Open arms, I receive the blessings. In every lesson, hope to see progression. The more you lead me to community, the more I see a need for intercession. Gotta pray for him.
I'll be your temple, I'll be your sanctuary. You can come dwell here. Won't you come and fill me? Jesus, have your way.
What is going on, good, beautiful people, on this great Thursday evening? Welcome back to the F.L.Y Show, where the F.L.Y stands for First Love You, and I am your host, the Jazzy D Mills. And as y'all see, I got a special guest with me here on tonight. Listen, we've been amping this thing up for the last week and a half. I've been excited. When I say, hey, Ray, I need you, she says, say less. Say less. But before we get into our topic on tonight, again, welcome back to the F.L.Y Show, where we are just breaking down the dynamics of life, the things that people think are taboo nowadays. We like to dig deep and get under the surface because there's so much surface stuff going on. It's a lot of, unknown times and a lot of unprecedented times that we're dealing with. And we are coming to give life, to give purpose in regards to relationships and personal growth, your faith and your identity, and who you are with engaging discussions. And so we invite you to participate. We ask that you tag your friends or share this on your pages. We are live now on YouTube, Instagram, and right here on Facebook. But let me introduce this queen here that I'm talking to right now. You know what I mean? Because I had me a little thing that she sent me, but I've been knowing Reagan.
Yeah, I'm like, girl, you don't need that.
Since what, 2020?
Girl, give me the line.
Listen, okay, so we started out in a women's organization and been together ever since. Okay, let's just say that. And what I have here none other than the Reagan Adams. She is the founder and visionary of Patches in Perspective, all things Reagan, fashion foodinista, fat girl foodinista. She is Build a Man Workshop. She is the admin and creator of Dating is Dead, Who Killed It. Catch and if you ain't in the group, go ahead and join. And when you get over there, don't be bougie, don't be so oh my God, clutching your pearls and say
it's not really holy over there. I'm just
ain't holy over there. Okay, so if you down with the brother, where art thou? Stay out of there. Okay,
it ain't over there at all.
Over there, they talk about real live stuff. Okay, so but tonight, we gonna pull her out of Dating is Dead a little bit to bring it over here on the F.L.Y Show. We got a real live topic that we're gonna be talking about on tonight. I know you all seen the post. I shared it. So we're basically looking at: are you struggling with lust, rejection, brokenness? Do you desire to realign your heart with God's will? Are you ready to step into your wholeness and your freedom? So tonight we're gonna be shifting some mindset, igniting some transformation with trying to overcome your lust, with temptations with God's strength, because we still talk about God will, both, saved and spicy. Amen. Okay. Amen. Healing from rejection, emotional wounds, recognizing when you're out of alignment, and walking in the fullness of God's purpose for your life. So we're gonna go ahead and kick the door wide open. My first question for you, Miss Adams, okay? We ain't doing all that introduction stuff because
wait a minute before you get started. Let me say this real quick. Baby, listen, that introduction. Can you do my video? Because I need some
And
assistance.
Ken.
I was like, okay, girl, I see you. I see you being
No,
professional.
we see you, ma'am. I gotta let the people know what the deal is, cause
I need
you
some
know,
assistance.
listen, I got you. I
All right,
got
well,
you.
go ahead. I'm sorry I mean to interrupt, but I was like, if I don't say this, I'm gonna forget it.
No, you good. So
Okay, go ahead.
start now. We kicking the door wide open. We gonna go for the gusto. Okay.
Okay.
So for you being you, I know you told your story 1,000 times. And disclaimer, everybody, y'all know I like to tell y'all, if y'all hear this little child running through here screaming and preaching, go with it. Okay. I'm a mama. Right.
Yeah.
So for you, after 14 years of marriage, your husband going to, to being incarcerated, you become a single mom. Shortly after your husband, is released, he passes away, right? So now you're in this single mom life, this single woman life, and you're having to navigate a totally new perspective. For you, how has like lust and temptation shown up in your journey, and how have you been able to like walk through that thing?
I walked through it with infidelity. So what had happened was, and side note, listen, disclaimer, I'm good and safe. All right. But I'm real at the same end of the stick. And so I
Mhm.
like to use things that I have been through to help somebody. So I know others have my story, whether you talk about it or not. I do because I'm free from it, or I'm in
Mhm.
the transition of being free from
Right.
some things.
Mhm.
But it falls right into this story. So I'm going to step back a little bit, Jasmine. So, like I said, you said earlier, we were married for 14 years,
Mhm.
but probably toward the first three and a half years before he went to prison, I'm gonna say 3 years before he went to prison, we were not having sex, and it was because he had erectile dysfunction. Uh, so we had no penetration sex. It was oral. And I mean, it's cool when it's cool, but when you want to be,
Mhm.
can't get it, that's a whole nother situation.
That's a whole other ball
So
game,
I was
especially when
very
you're married.
right. And I never cheated. It never crossed my mind. I mean, he did, but I didn't. It never crossed my mind.
Mhm.
Um, and ended up going to prison. I waited 2.5 years, still nothing on the plate, no nothing. And somebody I knew said was tickling my ear. And by this time, I had not had sex in 5.5 years.
Oh wow.
So I felt like, you know what, God, I need to be touched. Like, I want to be touched. This is somebody that I know from back in the day. Like, this is not a new person.
Mhm.
Um, I was attracted to him back then, and he's even more fine now, like all the things. So we don't live close. And, I heard it was good because he had been with somebody that. So I wasn't wasting my time. You know what I'm
Talk
saying?
about it. Let me
I'm
take my
thinking,
glasses off. We steamy already.
listen, put the kids to bed. I already told you.
Please put
Put
the
them to bed.
cheering up. We know y'all on winter break, but put your little babies up now.
Yeah, put them up. And I had calculated all of these things because, like, 5.5 years, I'm frustrated. I had been going through like financial things, trying to keep business. Like, I want my back to be beat down, and that's all I was thinking. Like, I know this person, I got a lot to lose. He does too. He ain't gonna
Mhm.
say nothing. I'm not gonna say nothing.
Mm, mm.
And I was like, oh, it's gonna be one time. That one
Cool.
time, you listen to me. That one time turned into 4 years. And which set up a spirit of lust.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it did. As far as the transition of me being a single mother, I was a single mother almost in the house while he was there, if that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
he was in the street, so he wasn't home a whole lot.
Right.
But
You're
then
not
when he went to
present.
prison, I
Yeah.
had already transitioned fully into being a single mother because he wasn't there. So even
Wow.
once he came home from prison, I was already in the role of a single mother.
Right.
So there was really I was already in the role.
Yeah.
Mentally, I was really even gone from the marriage before he left, to be, if I may be honest.
Mhm.
So really, I was just playing the role. He was playing the role because he had other stuff going on too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So like, so basically, at one point, you just got to the point to where you was like, okay, I ain't got no boundaries. This is what I want. I want this spinal cord to be bent all kind of way. Pretzel these legs, please and thank you.
Yeah. So I teach a class that talks about being and be in your relationship. And I also talk about the Delilah effect.
Yeah.
And I believe now what I did was wrong. So I'm not justifying.
Condoning. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely not. It was
Infidelity and
wrong.
right, right. Of course.
However, dot comma. There are things that God, even though He know what you're gonna do, He will
Mhm.
allow it because all things work together for your good. And I learned a lot. Like there's things even in my business that I learned with dealing with this man. Not even with my business, but I
Mhm.
learned how to take accountability. I learned emotional. Like there's a lot of things I learned from him, just built on for who I am now. To be
Right,
honest, if I may be very honest,
right.
and also it shifted my gears from who I dated because even like he is not the average person that I would date. Like very handsome man, got himself together. He's great on paper. He's a unicorn, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I've never like dealt with anybody like him before. And if I may be honest, I felt like I couldn't get anybody like him. Like you would be interested in me. And he was like, hold up, what's wrong with you? Do you not see who you are? So
Right.
there had to be a conversation that took place as well.
Mhm.
So even this situation was not in vain, and
Mhm.
God was still or is able because He's still using it, able
Right.
to use it. And
Right.
even the way He treated me, it was just a lot of stuff that I did not even see in my own marriage that I saw with Him.
Mhm.
So it was not wasted. Was it wrong? Yes, but the main thing that I think that I know that I fell in, it became a soul tie. And I
Mm.
had never had one before. So dealing with that is like the consequence. Like, oh,
Right.
like, yeah, I can use this stuff, but you still committed a
Yeah.
sin. So
Yeah.
you have to deal with this. And it is a mess. It is
Yeah.
horrible to go through. It's horrible. So I wouldn't wish
Yeah.
it on anybody. I'm gonna be honest. It's a mess.
So do you feel like um we as Christians struggle with suppressing like natural desires instead of transition or transforming through them?
Absolutely, because the church doesn't talk about sex.
Why do you think that is?
That's I think it even goes back to like the old days, like what
Mhm.
goes on in this house stays in this house. And I hate to always kind of take it back to slavery and
Yeah,
how
yeah,
those
yeah.
things are, but we want to make like push everything under the rug. We're not gonna talk about it. We need to make it look good. Don't nobody need to know what's going on. And it's more, let's cover it up. But for me, how I grew up, I grew up that way. Like we gonna make it look good and dress it up and don't say that and don't say this. And I'm the opposite. Like if
Mhm,
it does not, it can look good all day, but
mhm,
I want it to feel good. I want it to
mhm,
be good from the inside out.
mhm,
And the
mhm.
church, it's like one thing that God was dealing with me about is when we get saved, we're supposed to worship God in spirit and in truth.
Right.
And oftentimes our people forget about the truth. So we omit that and we want to appear to be spiritual. But at the end of the day, we live in a world of sin and we still have flesh. And the
Yeah.
Bible talks about our righteousness is of filthy rags. So even if we try to do our best, we still coming up short. And we
Right.
no sin daily. Nobody walking this earth, whether it's knowingly or we still sin. That is why Jesus came to save us, because we're going to need him in this life. We're always going to have something going on. And what I never understood is, why can't we talk about that something? And God created sex. So yeah, we want it, especially if you did it before you weren't supposed to. Now
Right.
you here like, oh God, like I really just, because that's how I be feeling now. Like I haven't had sex in over 2 years, and I be like, man, I still be listening. Like, hey man, I be wanting to make a phone. Listen to me. I don't know why people be sitting up here front. I don't, church or not. I be
Yeah.
like, man, I want to make a phone call. I want to
Yeah.
hop this flight. But the way the plane's dropping out of the sky now, I ain't got time to be dying over no. You understand what
Cause
I'm
you
saying?
know what I'm saying. You on the way to go commit your stuff because you in yourself and you in your flesh, and that's how the Lord gonna snatch you up out of here. Oh, okay. Since
Who
you acting
got time?
like you ain't got no sense, and since you out of my alignment, and you over here doing what you want to do, hold that thought.
Yeah, I don't
I,
want it.
I need you to come on.
Listen, I don't want it. I don't want it.
Mm-mm.
I don't want no parts of that. The way these
Yeah.
planes dropping, I'm
I'm-
with my little backpack and feeling fancy free and all the things, and
With
on
your
the news,
with your spinning
Reagan
light
didn't make it.
bag, that
Want to see
part.
this nigga? Reagan didn't make it. No, that will not be my storyline. Not today.
You even have my children out here being a motherless child.
What? Over some girl,
No,
you better make me
you
say
better not.
something.
You better not.
I mean, it's good, but it ain't worth dying over.
It's
You
not worth
understand?
me
I
losing my
listen.
life. It's not.
Baby,
It's not.
listen.
It's not worth me losing my life. It is not worth me sacrificing my mental peace
Mm-hmm.
because you're gonna be conflicted. Your soul gonna be tore up. Your face gonna be looking like you're busted and disgusted. And it's like it ain't nothing gonna be going right. So before I get out of what I'm supposed to be doing, before I even allow myself to distract myself, I'm gonna go over here and find me something else to do. Okay.
Yeah, and
So
we got a lot of stuff to work on. Let's be clear.
and do.
And I'm gonna be honest. That's why I always talk about purpose.
Yeah.
When you are single, even when you married, when you're single, that's gonna keep you out of a lot of trouble. You got a lot of stuff to work on.
Exactly.
Like, what we
Exactly.
doing? Like, if I
Right.
was twiddling my thumbs, I would be literally sitting here staring at the phone. Like, man, I just wish I could. But I got too much stuff to do.
Right.
I don't have time, right? So, and then I want to be married again. Like, I know I'm a
Mm-hmm.
wife. Listen,
Mm-hmm.
I was a
Mm-hmm.
wife out the womb. I
Mm-hmm.
understand the assignment that's on my life, and I can't keep playing like pity patting with stuff that
Ain't serving it.
it's
It's
not.
not.
I mean,
It's not serving it.
it's temporary satisfaction. It's very temporary.
Do you feel like social media, the entertainment world, friendships and stuff like that has influenced you in a negative or a positive way on your born again purity journey?
No, because like no, because I have my own thoughts. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very black and white when it comes to what I think and what I believe, and I'm not easily swayed.
Right.
So if my no is a no and my yes is a yes, like if you want to persuade me on something, it better make sense.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not getting ready just to take what you say lightly, because sometimes people will come and tell me stuff, and I'll be like, oh, okay, but I'm gonna go research it on my own, because I don't
Right.
even like your posture, and you didn't even sound like you believe what you said. So, because people just
Exactly.
be talking, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm not easily swayed with social media stuff. Like, I'm on it,
Mm-hmm.
but not to sway my thoughts for the most
Yeah.
part. It
Yeah.
will be something that will support what I'm already thinking.
Right. So kind of going back a little bit, like with you making the mistakes that you made or whatever the case may be, how were you able to overcome, like, I guess guilty feelings or self condemnations and stuff like that? Like, how did you come up out of that?
It was a few things. So
Mm-hmm.
when I first started dealing with him, I was serving in the front of my church. So I was working with my pastors on the front row. And because I had not had sex in so long, and the way this Nick listened to me, he was talking me up. Do you understand me? And like doing things that I, even as a grown woman, I was like, what is this? And I'm literally in church on the front row, zoning out, thinking about it.
Wow.
And didn't know it until one of my girls that I know, her friend went to the church. And she was like, hey, sister such and such said she saw you and she was speaking to you and you just looked like you was in another world. And I was. And I said, I can't be in church like this.
Right. Yeah.
I can't be in church like it. I'm gonna have to tighten up.
Yeah.
It was that because I didn't want to be seen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't go around saying, hey, I had an affair and this is like a big t-shirt I wear. I don't need nobody in my stuff. Like when I tell it, I want to tell it. I don't need nobody come to tell my nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me tighten this up. And there were many times like I tried to leave. But when you haven't had something ever, like the things that you, that's a spot to be in. Do you understand? That is a spot to be in. That you've experienced something mind, body, and soul physically, like all of those things that you can't have for real. Oh, that's a spot to be in.
Right.
Wow. And so just leaning back on my purpose, talking to God. I know one of the things I used to do when I know I would go have sex with him on my ride there, I would talk to God. God, and this is a real conversation. Every time I went, I said, God, you know I'm going to stop. I'm not going to be in this forever. But you see how he be doing me. You see how he does me. It's hard, Father, but I'm not going to be here for like always. Just continue to give me grace. I would literally have that conversation when I'm starting my car. Anytime to go see him, meet him.
I know you lying.
I ain't lying. I talk to God like I be talking to y'all, and that's when I be getting the results. I know people be thinking you got the Father. I mean, I do that too when needed.
Lord, my servant. Okay.
Whatever. But when I'm in a situation, because I be feeling guilty. When you have the Holy Spirit and you still feel guilty, that means God is still with you. If you just going and rolling up the street and it's like whatever, and you don't have a thought, that's when you need to be worried.
Exactly.
And so, and I knew I was going into leadership and I'm doing all these things and people are watching me, but then also I'm talking about relationships. So I don't want to be in a situation where it's like, oh, you sleeping with you married and this don't even, like, I'm not listening to you. When you actively doing it. Now I can say I did it past tense because it's been way in the past, but I can actively be in this.
Right.
And still telling people, hey, I believe in the sanctity of marriage. Hey, I believe in X, Y, and Z. Was it hard? Absolutely. Yeah. But you can overcome it. Why? With purpose. It's something that's bigger than you. God didn't move me all the way to Houston to be messing around like behind no dude. Like it's gonna be another man. Right. I ain't never had no problem getting no man. Let's be clear. So it will be another one. And just like I had him, and not saying it like that, but just like, I had that situation. God will replace him with something that is mine and that will be better. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so when I have that mindset, here we are. We can move.
Right. And switching, just kind of switching gears a little bit, kind of going down the road of like dealing with rejection and brokenness and stuff like that. Can you think of a time where you faced like a deep rejection and kind of go in detail on how God used that experience for your growth?
All of my life probably was rejection. One of the things I always remember, because I would tell people, I never thought I was pretty enough. Like everybody that I was around, they had the booties, they had and all the boys would just flock to them. And I was known as Reagan, the funny girl. Like I was cool, and it wasn't like I wouldn't get no play, but they weren't talking to me like they were talking to everybody.
Not like that, right?
And I was just like, I don't understand, because I don't think I'm that bad. You know what I'm saying? But everybody around me was getting play.
Mhm.
But then as I got older, I was like, Lord, you were really protecting me,
Mm.
because I go back and I look at certain situations and I'm like, it could have turned out this way.
Right.
It
Yeah.
could have
Yeah.
been here, because if I did this, you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I just have to look at it another way.
Mhm.
Rejection is God's protection. Also, when you are rejected a lot, there's a extreme call on your life, especially when
Mhm.
you're saved, because now, because I've been rejected, and some people be like, I don't really want to fool with her, I don't really want to talk to her,
Mhm.
she do X, Y, and Z. I can
Mhm.
just tell you what God said and drop it off and go on about my business. Like, I don't have to care what you think or say. Not that
Mhm.
I'm being mean about it, but if God told me to tell you something, because I've been rejected, I'm going to say, well, this is what God said. I'm going to drop it off and you can take it how you're going to take it. And I'm going to just go on, instead of saying, well, this is what God said. Well, are you okay with it? Or how do you receive it? I don't have to do all of that.
Mhm.
So it's a buffer to you. Everything negative, because God can use it all. And so when
Right.
change your mindset about the things that have happened in your life, you can use everything that's happened, the good and the bad. And most of the
Mhm.
time, the bad is what you really can use. That is
Mhm.
a testimony to say, look, I was in this, but God brought me out. So that's what I get excited about. I tell y'all more bad than I tell you good, but the bad things that happen are the reason that I'm even here now. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what were like during those times, like what were some of your coping mechanisms? Like what did you what were your vices that you went to in those times of rejection? Like what did you go to, or did you even have any?
I did food. Like, I don't smoke, I don't drink, but food
Mhm.
has always been that thing for me, a comfort. Masturbation was I was real heavy on masturbation because I needed it to go to sleep. That's also a
Jesus
comfort.
Christ.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be in that spot for a few minutes. You know
Right.
where to go. You're going to have some wonderful sleep. And it's just like a hit of a drug that you can go to sleep. You don't have to think about it. It'll be there in the morning when you get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. That was a coping mechanism. But food and masturbation. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. How
Yeah.
did you replace
Have
those?
I? Have I replaced it? Have I?
Uh,
We still working through that thing. I'm gonna be honest. We
have
working.
you?
But I'm telling you, God ain't playing with me either about this. He ain't playing with me about either.
And
He's
and
not.
ain't and ain't and ain't.
Especially as we get older,
Uh-huh.
like
Mhm.
our bodies, we can't eat what we used to eat. And my body really, like, he been on, girl, some of the food I think he trying to take away from me. I'm like, Lord, come on now. He said, you should be tired. Like, your body should be tired of this food right now, Reagan.
You
It should
ain't
be
done
tired. And
digesting
it's
that,
like I
like
can't even eat it. It's like he taking
yeah.
the taste away from me.
Hmm.
So still working through the masturbation thing because it's hard.
Yeah.
Like, some
And
days I just,
the crazy thing is there are so many people that are dealing with that in hiding.
yeah,
Okay. In hiding, because it is such a subject that we feel like we can't talk about, that we feel like we can't discuss, because first of all, at this big old grown age, if you can't talk to somebody that you trust, about
mhm.
situations that you're going through, things that you're facing, issues that you're dealing with, how you think you're gonna come out of it if you don't talk about it?
You're
You
not.
can't.
You're going to put yourself in condemnation, and you're
That
not going to go
part.
to God. You're not going, or you just going to shy away from the church. Like, you're not going to go to anybody. That's why
Yeah.
I be so free with
Mm-hmm.
talking about a lot of stuff, because I
Mm-hmm.
know people be going through stuff. I know I do, because it's crazy. This is a side note. I know you didn't ask for it, but I just feel like I need to say it.
Yeah.
A lot of people will look at me. I was at a brunch Sunday, and they
Mm-hmm.
will look at me like I'm just the most wholesomest person and I don't do nothing. And I'll be like, nigga, if you only knew, like, just because I don't have the same vice as you have,
Right,
don't
right.
mean I don't have anything.
Mhm,
Right.
mhm.
And
Yep.
and I talk about these things that I do or have done. And
Yeah.
y'all still think I am squeaky clean.
Got it
And I'm
all together.
listen, we can have a conversation.
Right.
But I grew up in the church all my life, but it still doesn't mean I didn't experience being a lot of things. Side note, what did they used to call the church girls? The biggest freaks.
The
And guess why we were
biggest.
the biggest freaks? Because they told us don't do it. So
Yeah.
we're in competition with Libby and Lakeisha and Trisha trying to pop it on a handstand. So yeah, we were the biggest freaks because we in competition, but
Right.
nobody set us down and said, don't do this, not only
Mhm.
because God didn't say it, but we got soul ties. You got
Yeah.
all these feelings and emotions that's going on. You
Mhm.
could have a baby.
Mhm.
Nobody talked about that. Just think if they did. I don't
Right.
think we would be sneaking and creeping as much.
Not as much as some are doing, was doing, and probably will do. You know what I mean? And so that kind of transition into like this point being got aligned. You picked up everything you had, moved you and your baby from Knoxville, Tennessee, to the great city of of Houston, Texas. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Kept it a whole secret. Went live when you hit Texas. Okay,
Yeah.
and now I can publicly say you are one of the relationship slash dating coaches for the singles at the Lighthouse Church, where your pastor is the Keon Henderson. Okay.
Yes.
And your first lady is the Shawnee Henderson. Let's talk about it, right? Being God aligned and walking in your wholeness, like how were you able to recognize being not in his divine alignment? Like what were your like how did you hone in on knowing this ain't God and this ain't where he want me at?
And back at home,
Yeah.
um, one day I was just driving around the city and I felt like I couldn't breathe. I physically felt like suffocated and that I was in this box. And
Mm,
I just kept driving to four corners and I kept seeing the same people doing the same thing. And I was just like, I want to get out of here.
mm.
But I didn't
Oh,
know where I was going. All
right.
I knew was I was just like, I want to get out of here.
Excuse me. Mhm.
And I got an unction to start cleaning my house out. And when I say cleaning out, like clean it out, throwing stuff away, like living very bare minimal.
Mhm.
And then my cousin, he's a bishop, prophet, but he operates in the prophetic. And God told me to watch his video. He did a lot. He does lives every now and again. So I got on there and watched. And I was watching and I was like, okay, this is good, but I'm finna get off here because it was getting late. And I said, God, no, he said, Reagan, are you still on here? Just as I was about to click off. And I was like, yeah. And he said, God want me to tell you something. He said, get ready to move. He said, and I was feeling that, but I just wasn't sure because I'm like, I
Right.
don't know where I'm going.
Right.
And he said, get ready to move because Knoxville is like a fishbowl for you and you've outgrown it, which I knew that. I knew, but I just, again, didn't know where to go. And he said, for some reason, I'm seeing Texas. He said, I'm seeing Houston. And then he started calling like the other major cities. He was like, I don't know, but I'm just seeing Texas. And at that time, I was supposed to go to Houston in October to visit because I love Houston when I visited the last time. And so I told him, I said, I'm supposed to go in October. He said, get ready to move. That next night, like things just started happening. I lost the insurance on my house. And I had this house for 10 years. They said that they had been what did they say? That they had been covering me, but they weren't supposed to. And I had
Oh.
30 days to find another insurance. And I was like, what? So I had to find another insurance. In the midst of me finding another insurance, all like the sewage lines and everything just went haywire.
Mm.
Meanwhile, I had spent over $60,000 remodeling my home. They told me it would be another $100,000. And I was like, who? I don't love this house that much. Like,
Listen.
I'm not doing that. And so I heard in my spirit, sell it. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm gonna sell it, but then what am I about to do?
Right.
Well, I put the house on the market and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna move to Houston because I was working from home with the
Mm-hmm.
state. but they never responded to me about transitioning me. Right when it was like 2 weeks for me to leave, they were like, you got to come back in the office for 1 day a week. What? 1 day a week? This is stupid. So anyway, fast forward from there, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna quit my job. I don't have a backup, but I'm just gonna quit. Because what had happened was I was doing DoorDash while I was working part, but I made more money part-time doing DoorDash than I was doing on my regular job.
On your job. Yeah.
So I was like, surely I can just go to Houston and make money if I'm doing it full time. I had a little cushion because I had sold my house. So I'm like, I'll just find another job. And I told him I quit. And I just left.
And boom, here you go. No, ain't no, all right, give me a couple months. Give me I'm out of here.
I was so ready. Listen to me. I was so ready to go. Like, but when I visited Houston for the first time, I was like, this place feels different.
Yeah.
It feels different. It feels like home. And even though I didn't really know anybody, I was like, I'm gonna live here. And the cost of living was more, it was cheaper than Knoxville. So I'm like, I'll be okay. Kenny, we're gonna have a better life. And when I got here too, because I asked God, like, why are you bringing me to Houston? Because I found out about Pastor Keon first. Before he told me anything about Houston, he told me about Pastor Keon. So I had been watching him. I didn't know he was in Houston though. The reason I knew he was in Houston is because he and Shani had gotten engaged. And I was like, oh, he in Houston. So God was like, this is going to be your church. And so what he did, he started building on top of that. So he had lined up everything in a 4-month span. I found my apartment a week before I moved here.
Yeah.
And that was all she wrote. And he told me, because I asked him, I said, Lord, why are you moving me here? He said, you're going to be a part of relationships. You're going to work for relationships in the relationship sector at your church. And then you're going to do it in your business.
Wow.
When I got here, they didn't have a relationship department. There was no singles, nothing.
So this is all fresh.
Yeah. But I mean, it didn't stop me from going to the church because he be on point with my stuff. So I know I'm at the right church. So I was just like, okay, I'm just going to stay here. But I know what God told me. And then when they said, who wants to be a part of the ministry, go ahead and apply or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, God, you didn't lie. And even then, I'm trying not to be so long-winded. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Even when it was time for us to me to be in the group, they had me online. And I was like, Lord, I didn't want to be online. I asked to be in person. And God said, just hold tight. I got you. Hold
that thought.
Yeah. And not only, this is crazy, not only do I not have to do online, but I would have stayed online if they needed me. I didn't want to. I would have stayed online if they needed me. But now I'm in, we're in person and appear to have one of the largest groups because I'm at the main campus.
Okay.
But just think, if God told you to do something, and you're like, well, God, this is what you said, but I don't see it just yet. That's why we can't operate on what we see.
Right.
We just got to be obedient and go. Now, what if he had told me once I got on there and they told me I'm going to be online only? Well, I quit because I said I want to be in person. So we just have to learn to stick and stay, be obedient and trust what he's going to say because he's going to work it out every time.
You keep slapping on this word obedient, okay?
Yeah.
You only said it a couple times, but the things that you've been saying has been insinuating obedience. Even in your disobedience, you've been obedient. How do you go against biblical scripture but stay in the alignment of God? How?
I don't know.
Because I'm up here like everybody like you, and that's not just say like just kind of picking you out like you just you making it through, but it's like, do you know how hard it is on people to do stuff, to sin on purpose, to do all kinds of crazy crap, and they life just fall apart? But then it's like you have this honest, open relationship with God, this dialogue, this conversation, this, hey, look, you know what I'm gonna go do.
You know it. I'm about to go get tossed up, Jesus. Now I need your grace and your mercy. And I'm telling you with some real
I
conversations.
need you to cover and protect me
I
while I'm
do.
over here.
I need it. Psalms 91 over me. Blood of Jesus over me. I'm saying all that.
While
Please
I'm over
cover
here
me
getting this chiropractic, while I'm at this chiropractic visit.
listen.
Hint, hint,
Please.
clue. Listen. While I'm over here doing this, God, I just need you to cover me. God, you know I won't be here long. God, you know I'm not going to be doing this always. I still need you to lead me down the path that you got for me. I still need you to talk to me. I still need you to tell me where I'm supposed to go. I still need you to tell me, okay, call this person and tell them I said XYZ. I'm still going to download, give you these dreams because you're a seer. You're a visionary. You come on Facebook every morning up from a dream. It could be 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, rock. If you got a dream, you gonna come up there, you gonna post a picture. I don't know who this is for. I might be talking to you, but I'm talking to myself as well. Being in God's will while simultaneously disobeying his will.
But you know one thing I think God knows about me, and not saying that everybody should sin. Like you should try
Yeah.
your best not to sin. I'm not glorifying sin at
Amen.
all.
Right.
But we do have a sinful nature. I mean, it's just
We
what it
do.
is.
It's in there. Yeah.
But I believe what he knows about me is I'm gonna tell everybody who brought me through. I'm gonna always put him first.
Right.
I'm gonna always God. Sometimes I be feeling like I be saying his name too much. Like you know, the Lord, He said, and He said, and God said, and you know, God told me to tell. Like He know I'm gonna put him first.
Right.
And so as long as I keep him first and I know where to go when I do mess up, I think it's just like, okay, Reagan, I'm gonna work with you. Now it's not meaning that I'm not gonna have something come back behind that somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
But sometimes because of his grace and his mercy, you won't even see it. You won't feel it. So it just depends. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna always try my best to keep him first and tell the people what thus saith the Lord, what I feel like he said anyway. And then if I'm not really sure, I'll be like, hey, you need to go talk to him for yourself. I'm just telling you what I think. I don't know. Because Lord, I don't listen. I got enough stuff on my plate. I don't need to be telling your people nothing wrong. You hear me?
Absolutely. And so with doing that, like, what do you feel is a small thing that someone can do to start their way to get back into his alignment?
Repent. Lord, I'm sorry. I need help. Just be honest. I'm telling you, people make the easiest way to look at your relationship with God is like your parent, because he is your parent. He's your father. Now, I don't know if you had crusty parents, but let's just say you had good parents. Okay. They were decent. We know they weren't perfect, right?
Yeah.
With my father, with my mother, I used to listen to me. I used to give my mama and daddy a run for their money. Do you
Right.
When they said go left, I went right. Don't touch that. I'm going to touch it because I need to go see for myself.
What it's about, right?
I used to lie so much. Like it was just bad. Like I wasn't a bad child, but I was gonna do what I wanted to do when I want to do it. It's always being all things Reagan. I think it, I see it, I do it. It's always
yeah.
But one thing I know is that even when I was wrong, my parents still gave me stuff that I didn't deserve. Your parents, no matter how much your kids get on your nerves, you still love them.
Right.
Why wouldn't our father do the same thing?
Right.
And so when your kid messes up, man, just come on. He doing us the same way. He ain't probably yelling at us, but like, come on.
Yeah.
Get on in the house. I still love you. Come on. You might be, disciplined or whatever. Right. But he doesn't leave us alone. And so a lot of the time when the enemy puts us in certain situations or we put ourselves in certain situations, because I could have been like, when I was in my situation with old boy, like I could have been like, I can't work on the front. of the church. I'm not going to church. I just want to go and be in the house and hide from God. No, I still was serving, even like being slutted out. I was still going up there and serving, and until I came out of that thing. And
Yeah.
that's a lot of the time we got to keep going until we get to the line and break those things off of us. If you want to have a clean heart from it, like if you still want to stay in it, we ain't talking about the same thing, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
I know when I dealt with him, I was in a space where I felt like I just needed to get some things. And I got those things outside of sex. I got those things. And they made me a better person. But it's not anything that I can stay in, right? And still
Yeah.
be of service to people and be what I'm supposed to be with God.
Yeah. Why do you think, just in your opinion, why do you think it's so hard for people to, like you just said, keep going through whatever you're dealing with, keep going through whatever sin you're in? Why do you feel like they just get stuck in the middle of it and just, I'm gonna stay right here because it feels good, or I'm gonna stay
This is
right here because
comfortable.
it's comfortable?
It's comfortable.
Yeah.
Do you know if I still wanted to deal with that boy, I could.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. And
Yeah.
that was very listen to me. That is very comfortable to me. All right. Very comfortable. Did I want to come out from under him? I did not.
Literally
I
from
did not
under.
really. I didn't. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
but you have to, like, you gotta want it. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, once we get comfortable in a space, it's hard to even with me and take him off the table. Even going and networking with people, and I don't like doing that. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people think I'm extroverted and all the things, which I am when I'm comfortable with you.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I'm in the back. I'm in the back chilling.
Yeah.
I don't
Chilling.
want to be seen. You don't have to call my name. I don't have to be up front.
Right.
But now in the spaces that I'm in, I'm about to go into a group in a few weeks, and I got 55 people I got to deal with by myself. And that ain't even a real number right now. It could be more.
Right.
And we just getting out of the gate. So I have to be up front.
Yeah.
That is very uncomfortable for me a lot of the time. A lot of people think I just pop up and I'm like, hey, this is Reagan. No, that's not me. Like, I got to warm up. But we have to get in an uncomfortable space to get something we've never had. What do you think? I mean, if I was still in Knoxville, I would not have the opportunities that I've had here. And how God has provided for me since I've been here. I know I'm supposed to be here because it's happened quickly.
Yeah.
Like, when I wrecked my car, he showed me in a dream that I was going to wreck the car. And then 4 hours later, I had another car. I didn't even have a job. I didn't have listen to me. I mean, I got story after story after story after story. And I only been here 2 years.
Yeah.
How God has provided. But when you are obedient and you jump out of the gym, faith without works, which means you got to move.
Right.
Dead. So I had to have faith to say, let me just go and see. If not, I can always come back home. But coming back home was never an option to me. I didn't want to be home.
Yeah.
There's nothing there for me. And it's just like Abraham. He told Abraham, go and I will show you a land. He didn't tell Abraham where to go. Just like Noah, he told him to build the ark. The rain was coming, but it didn't rain for 150 years. He had to do that on faith. You can't please God without it. You can't. And you're not going to have change without it either.
Right.
It's not going to happen. This is good to me. I want to high five myself. I'm just saying. This is good to me.
Listen, because and it's good to me too, because these are conversations that, again, like I said, we don't want to have. We don't want to talk about. It's like kind of going back to what you said in the beginning. Whatever what go on this house, stay in this house. That's why you got so many people walking around here that have been touched on, felt on, dug in, and all kind of nasty, perverted, conniving, vindictive, and evil kind of stuff. And you got people walking around here with mental issues that don't know who they are, that don't have no self-confidence, no vision of self-worth, that don't know how to get in alignment with God, that don't know the path that they're supposed to be set on, that don't know that you can use your mess as your message, your test as your testimony, and all the cliche things. So it's like, If you telling me what go on in this house, stay in this house, how am I supposed to cry out for help if you telling me to be quiet? You know what I mean? It keeps you from being able to recognize your own voice. It keeps you from being able to recognize your own strength and that you have the ability to walk out of whatever situation that you're in. You ain't got to deal with all this kind of crap that you put yourself into. And then not only that, it puts you in a position to where you want to deal with people that you ain't supposed to be dealing with, committing sins that you're not supposed to be committing.
Yes.
You know, you living and you walking in it. You know, you doing this stuff on purpose because you don't have no self-identity. You know what I mean? When you don't know who you are and you don't understand the value that you possess, you will be out here making some of the most reckless decisions, dealing with the most low down 19 teeth having Negroes. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
I got married. Shoot, what you
what are we
talking
doing? That's how a bunch of people that got
married.
married, had kids, and dealt with somebody that they weren't supposed to be with, and then you see him 30 years later, like,
What
I
was
ain't
I
happy,
thinking?
I ain't happy, but I'm all right.
And listen, I don't ever want to be that again.
Don't.
My next marriage, baby, listen.
That's gonna be the
Listen.
one for the books.
Listen, and I'm gonna do my marriage, and when I'm dating, like I did when I got moved to Houston, y'all ain't finna know nothing. I mean, you might know a little something, but I'm gonna be married, and I'm just gonna come in.
Y'all might not know, but I'm
with my
gonna
rings.
know. I'm gonna know because I'm gonna be in the
Yeah, I'm
building.
gonna keep that under wraps. But I just know the type of wife
Yeah.
that I want to be and that I am, baby. What?
Yeah. That comes with doing the work, though. That comes with
Yeah,
doing the work. That comes with learning who you are as a person, learning who you
and
are as
helping
a
others,
woman. Right.
helping
Because
others.
you can find so much of yourself in being a servant to other people. Because we're
Mhm.
all called to serve. If Jesus Christ came here on this earth to be a servant, because if you want to be, let's be clear, he served while he was here. He all his miraculous parables, his
Yep.
stories of healing and restoration and rising from the dead, those were moments of serving. He was doing something for other people. He brought life to other people. This one for him, he was just on his little merry little journey.
Mhm.
Father, please remove this cup from me. But if it's your will be done.
Well, you can't have a relationship without serving.
That
Let's start
part,
there.
that part, that part.
God, God so loved the world that He gave His only Son.
Gay, gay.
Give, and it shall be given to you. Press down, shaking
Press
together.
down, shaking together,
When you
running over.
give,
Mm-hmm.
when you give, you
Mm-hmm.
get.
Yeah,
And that's relationships. They should be
yeah.
reciprocal. Talked
Mm-hmm.
about this last night. When I spend my time giving to you and I find the man that wants to give back to me, we won't lack anything.
At all.
We won't. And a lot of people teach a selfish message.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus came to die for our sins. He gave himself up. How you in a relationship being selfish? I don't understand. I don't understand.
And
I don't
what you
understand.
and what we have to understand, it even goes back to Jesus came and died for us, but God had to send him. God sent his only and his last. He ain't got another one.
Listen, don't ask me for my last chicken wing. Listen, you talking about a child?
No, wait. Right. A tantrum. What you mean? You could have you could have went over there and got that. You know, you could have got your own, for yourself. But he gave his only and his last. Ain't
And
no
his
more.
best. And his best.
What you say? Listen to me.
Listen to me. I don't want it. Don't ask me for my last nothing. Cause even my child cannot get it. No.
And
No.
cannot. I can
No.
because we're not doing that. I bought you your own. I asked you what you wanted, and I got you what you wanted. So
Listen. So
I
I don't
love
know. I'm being funny, but just being in a relationship, if you're selfish, you ain't ready for one.
at all.
You're not ready for one.
So that brings me to another question, okay? And excuse me for a second.
Okay.
What's your what's your viewpoint? Because you share a lot of thought-provoking, insightful videos in Dating is Dead, Who Killed It, right?
Okay.
And I my main one that I love that you share is like so many different ones, like from Trip Fontaine to the guy named Bricks Buddha that you recently shared the other day, you know, talking about how you it's okay for you to go through your marriage and understand the value of abstaining from sex even in your marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how he valued his wife and how he, you know, went through all the things with his wife, like these different videos of the men sharing their, you know, stories and their testimonies and things that they've dealt with and things that they've had to come through and overcome. Like, why is it that you push, not say that you neglect the women, but
I
why is
do
it
push
so
men.
important that you push men as hard as you do? Why is that?
God told me they are not happy.
Mm-hmm.
They're not happy. A lot of them aren't happy in their marriages. They're not happy in relationships. Women are selfish. They don't think about them. They don't care about them. It is all about the woman, their needs, what the man can do. And they are physically, mentally, and spiritually withering away.
Mm,
And they're supposed to be the head.
right.
If the head is not taken care of, what we talking about?
Yeah.
Like he can't
Yeah.
do anything for me if he is not right. If
Right.
we're not praying for him, if we're not uplifting him, if we're not
Yeah.
speaking into him.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe some women don't know what the role of a man is in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And like one of the girls said that I watched, like if you've never had a real man, you gonna think that they're irrelevant. Like I don't need no man. You will never hear me say that. Do you understand?
Ever.
You will
Ever.
never
Ever.
hear me say
You'll hear
that.
me, you'll hear me say, I, you know, I'm doing all right paying all these bills, but
I'm not even gonna say that because I
I
don't
will,
want it. I can pay, but I
I
prefer
can
not.
pay.
Huh?
Yeah. You'll hear me say, oh, you're not, you'll hear me say that night for real. I've been like, okay, well, you know, I'm holding it down.
Yeah,
I, I'm holding it down, but
I don't want to hold it down.
I will never open my mouth to utter the words that I don't need a man, because yes, you do.
You do. And not
Every
only do you want one, I need one.
hear
I don't. I
me.
need him.
Yeah.
I need him.
Yes.
And I think because we date scared and we're not vulnerable, we don't want to be open. We're
Hold on, hold on,
selfish.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
Okay.
What is dating scared look like? What is that? What is dating scared? What is
Because
that?
we're scared to share our emotions. We're scared to talk about how we feel
But okay,
because
I don't want to be sharing how I feel on the first date. You know, being all vulnerable and
you
open
know
and
what?
stuff
I don't
like
have
that.
a problem with that. I don't have a problem sharing, and people who I come
Mhm.
around, whether it be a man or a woman, they tell me out of business. But
Quick,
it's quickly. It
quick.
be the first time. Like I've never had a problem with any. When I say anybody, it can be a stranger
Mhm.
on the street
Right.
that will just feel comfortable to come and talk to me. But you know
Yeah.
why? Because I'm relatable. I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you my stuff too. So I'm gonna show you my stuff. You show me yours, and I'm not gonna judge you.
Right.
I'm not gonna judge you. And I'm gonna accept you because I mean, why not? I'm
Yeah.
not perfect, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but a lot of us date scared. We want to act like we got everything together, and we don't.
Yeah.
Um, and we just really walking around here hurt, to be honest. We just
Yeah.
are, for the
Talk
most
about
part.
it. Truth be told, and it'll set you free. My next question is, speaking of, you know, people not being whole and stuff like that, what do you feel like is a major mindset shift that helped you from, you know, to get from like brokenness to being whole?
I'm
Was there
just
like
not
a,
tired of how I was.
yeah.
Um, I wanted to look different. I wanted to be different. I always knew I was a leader.
Hmm.
Um, but I always want to be different. I don't want to do like everybody else is doing. I don't want to say what everybody else is saying. And
Hmm.
everything was just looking alike. Like
Yeah.
everybody's sounding alike. Everybody's saying
Yeah.
it the same thing. I don't, I just want to be different.
Yeah.
And I want to make a difference.
Hmm.
Uh, I like when people be like, man, Reagan, you help me see another side of the street, or,
Yeah.
I just want to make a difference. And I want to see people live good lives.
Right.
And in order for them to live a good life, I got to live one. I can't just be like, y'all need to go on out of here. And I'm over here looking like slow burn Sally. Like, nah. Like Reagan, oh, she done up the move to Houston. Oh, I can go to Houston. She only
Mhm.
got one. Oh, I can do that too. So
Right.
I gotta lead, because some people
Yeah.
are watching me like, and they may not even tell me, but I know, like, man, you wrote this book. I know you be making all these bad spelling grammars, but you got 2 books. I'm gonna write me one too,
Mhm.
just to
Mhm.
know that they can do it. But I had to take the lead first, and I had to get out of my comfort zone first. Uh,
Yeah.
so
And kind of closing up with that, with my last question, like what would be the additional piece of advice that you would give somebody that feels stuck in the cycles of lust and rejection, or just the emotional pain, but they want to be free to live and be who they are?
talk to God first. I'm gonna always say go talk to Him first. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just tell Him, like how you would call and talk to one of your homeboys or your homegirls.
Mm-hmm.
Just talk to Him. Lord, I need some help. This is what I'm dealing with. I want to be able to X, Y, and Z, and then start making small adjustments to what you're doing.
Right.
Just small adjustments. Like if you need, I know a lot of people, side note,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you are a visionary or you have ADHD or something like that, you keep a messy house. Your house be
Mm-hmm.
messy. Your pockets of your house are messy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because you a dirty person. It's just
Mm-hmm.
because that's how we are. I'm like that too. So I have to be mindful. I gotta go make sure I'm picking up because when I
Mm-hmm.
start looking for stuff, I'm just like, whoop, 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 whoop. I might not put it back up right then.
My youngest son, he does that. Like he'll go pick up a bag and flip clothes out, pick all his toys up, and just leave it in the floor.
Or forget that I put something somewhere. Like it's
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So I have to be mindful. Okay, I know this is looking crazy in here. So like
Mhm.
once I get out from here, I'm gonna go pick up my bathroom. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So just being mindful. Let me go do this for 30 minutes today.
Right.
Just
Right.
start making small changes. Cause I know with me, and Kenny even has to remind me, because I have so much going on in my brain and so much I want to do and so many
Mhm.
projects. I'm like,
Mhm.
I got 15 things to do and I want them all done tonight. And Kenny was
Yeah.
like, I know.
Yeah. You
So
can't
we
do
have
that.
to just baby steps and give
Yeah.
ourselves grace. I
Yeah.
know I have a hard time with grace. I rarely give grace to others. I just
Mhm.
don't, because I don't give it to myself.
Mhm.
So just baby, talk to God. God, I need some help. Show me what to do and repent. If you're serious about it. Now, so I was gonna say if you're serious. I don't have to listen. My repent sheet is, yeah, it's pretty lengthy.
It's kind of lengthy.
It's lengthy. But go to God. Like ask him, say, Lord, I need some help. I need you to show me what to do. And you know what to do. You know some things you can do to make your life better and come up out.
Right.
If you got a problem with a dude you've been trying to leave alone and you know you need to leave him alone, just start one day. Don't text him. Don't call. Don't even answer the phone. Like one day. Even if it's a half a day, take a minute to respond. Just take a time until it starts getting to where it's like, I don't need to talk to him. But when you
Mhm.
find your purpose and something to do, your focal point won't even be on him. It'll
Right.
be what you're supposed to do. But just
Mhm.
take small steps. That's my advice.
Well, ma'am, it's been an hour and 3 minutes, and we can go on and on.
Oh,
But I know, we got things and stuff to do. So before we leave out, let everybody know where they can follow you at, what you got going on, all the things.
I don't really got nothing going on right now. To be honest, I know that sounds crazy. Jasmine, you be making it seem like I got all this stuff going on. I really don't, y'all. I really don't.
Okay,
Uh,
well, since she's so modest and humble, uh
the
make sure you
only thing I do have right now is patches
uh-huh.
and perspectives. That's it.
Coming to a local city near you.
I know.
And
So
just so you know, she do hats, she do jackets, she do pocketbooks. You know, I'm country purses
yes,
for all you bourgeois. She do purses and hats and all the things. So,
yes.
and she'll also, I know I'm giving you a whole little testify, but in your resume, but she'll travel, y'all. So if you want to have a patches party, call her and she'll
I
have a
will.
party. Mhm.
Yeah, we're doing patch and sit parties, and that's what I'm really trying to get off here in Houston. Not even trying, I'm doing it,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
just trying to find a balance on doing that, as
Mhm.
well as dating is dead and build a
Yeah.
man. Yeah, so it's
And now
that's
light
taking
and now lighthouse.
oh yeah, that too. Cause baby, listen, my group finna be fire. Like hey,
Spicy is on board.
baby, listen, when I come back and say, y'all, I had 100 people in my class, y'all, I had 200 people in my class. My class, it's not your granny's singles ministry. It ain't your mamas, it ain't your grannies, and it ain't your aunties. Because just like I'm talking to y'all, it's how
Mhm.
tonight is how I'm gonna be talking to them. And they're gonna be
Mhm.
like, oh, this is good.
Yeah,
And
because it's time. It's time now. It is time out for these behind the wall secrecy conversations. It's time for you to be out here talking about some
mhm,
relevant stuff
and get free.
and get free from it all. Please and thank you. Stay
Yeah.
within the alignment of the Lord. Hallelujah. But be free. Okay. All right. And may the Lord watch between me and y'all while we're absent one from
One from
another.
another.
This has been yours truly, Jazzy D Mills, right here on the Fly Show. Don't go nowhere right now. I want to
Okay.
thank each and every one of you all for tuning in with us here on tonight as we went through and broke down overcoming lust, overcoming rejection, the emotional pains of being out of the alignment with God, and also getting you on the path to get back in His alignment. What my girl said, make sure you repent and talk to God. And above all else, make sure you first love you because you absolutely deserve it. And I'll see you all next Thursday. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
I'll be your